Waldorf education is a true gift for children.
We really are educating the whole child.
Most schools don't look at the child that way. They look at it as an academic curriculum, which we do also, but in a way that'll serve the child's long-term health.
Education here is like a breath. It comes in easily and it goes out easily. It's something that's always there.
We don't get a lot of homework, but we still learn exactly the same like any other school would.
It's very peaceful, it's very beautiful, and I find myself wanting to be a student here.
I just love this school because of everything. Doesn't matter how you look or how you are or what you wear, because everyone loves you and your personality.
We have a protected environment, so the child feels safe, and then from that safety, just like at home, they can go out and explore.
I feel extremely lax to be able to be comfortable with myself. It's okay to have fun at school.
You can come to school and be like, yes, I have this class today. This day's gonna be great. And you can go home with all your friends because you're all so close. You form a great bond.
Everyone here is committed to their children and family and the child's development and growth and the whole community.
Even without going to any other school, we just decided this was it. It just, the entry into the school just said this is what we needed for our child.
The first time I walked in a Waldorf school, it felt gentle and warm and someplace where I knew my child would be taken care of and loved.
Our first thoughts when we toured the Cincinnati Waldorf School was how much love we saw in everything. We were able to see the children singing and baking bread with their teacher and the obvious amount of love that was being put into that, and you could just see the joy on their faces, but you also saw joy on the teachers' faces.
My first impression was a feeling. It felt like home to me. It felt like the students really loved the environment, and the building just felt warm and inviting. The artwork everywhere was just, it was visually pleasing. It smelled amazing. Everything about it just felt comfortable to me. I didn't feel intimidated walking in.
As I got to know more about the Waldorf School, I realized that there was a lot of amazing academic work going on here, and the curriculum is a piece of art. It is an amazing curriculum that really builds upon itself and leads children from the very beginning of first grade to the end of 8th grade on an incredible journey that covers all of the academic subjects.
I was walking through the school with Karen. She was telling us what the kids were doing, and I, for some reason, just started crying. The reason why was because these kids were so soulfully doing their work, and their artwork was so beautiful, and their movement was so beautiful, and they were still junior high kids who were just trying to figure their way, but it was immersed in this loving environment of education. And so I went home and I said, but we need to figure out how to send our kids to the school. It's because I wanted my kids to feel amazing and loved as they were learning.
The richness of the way students approach their education is colored by what they had coming up through the grades. They all along have had an artistic emphasis on their education, on the beauty and appreciating their work and trying to care about what they are doing.
The arts really enliven the academic program. They make everything come to life for children.
Everything that we present, from the aesthetic of our classroom to the handwriting on the board to the way we present mathematics, should be done artistically.
We present a traditional academic program, but it's infused and enlivened through the art. This really helps them deepen the academics in a different way.
It helps your brain open up to the learning that it's doing. It creates some beauty around the students that I think relaxes them and makes the work more accessible to them.
To me, the art part is a way to get the kids working on their subject. When a teacher says, I want you to draw what the French Revolution meant, I think it's an excellent way to get kids to really think about what they're studying.
And also it's the art that they are creating. They're expressing something about themselves at a deeper level by using the arts. So it connects the thinking with the sort of feeling that you have.
Initially, they're like, I'm knitting, or I'm sewing, or I'm making something, but day after day, year after year, they form these beautiful things that really comes from them. That's art, but it comes from a broad, deep place in them.
All of our subjects have a little bit of art like kind of incorporated in it. You get to do something creative and kind of on your own, so it's not all just what someone tells you to do. You have a lot of freedom.
Knowing alumni parents who have kids who are in college and are in professions, they describe their child continuing to seek out beauty, to be surrounded by beauty, but also to recognize the beauty within themselves and recognize the beauty in other people. I mean, that's so amazing.
Because of the way that we approach learning through games and music and the arts, all of that means that some people are better at some aspects than others. That lets each student say, oh, this is my strength and I can help teach you these other areas. So I think it's a mixture of the arts that helps tap into students of different abilities and the different ways that we approach teaching, but it also is our very individualized approach toward education, toward meeting each student where they are.
When I shadowed here, I saw the kids' books, and they were like gorgeous pieces of artwork.
If you look inside a main lesson book, you'll see writing, but you'll also see drawing. And the drawing very specifically are illustrations of the main lesson content.
They are very proud of what they are creating. It's a piece of beauty, not just of intellectual achievement.
Rather than just learning about history, we were drawing the history on a page. We were writing the history in our own handwriting. I still remember all of those.
Waldorf creates thinkers, feelers, and doers all at the same time in the way that we present the material to students and to have the students participate with us.
We call on a lot of different opportunities for education. Mainstream, kinesthetic, auditory, and visual, we incorporate very much. In a classroom, you would see during a main lesson a teacher make reference to reading material where students would have an opportunity to read from the board, read from a book, read from a main lesson book, but they would also have opportunity to hear. All of the main lesson content, the language arts, are told via story.
We are not just presenting facts or chronology. Instead, we are sharing stories about humans through history. We are asking students to say, well, what would I have done in that situation? What would it have been like for me? And then we say, so how does that relate to us now?
And then the kinesthetic, learning math in the grades through grade 4, we very much move our math. We speak our times tables with rhythm and with singing, stomping, and clapping. It is a kinesthetic form of education. It gets the math into their bones, into their bodies.
We love to move at the Waldorf School. We do so many physical things to get the children to be in their bodies and be able to learn from the tips of their toes to the tips of their fingers and the top of their heads. So it's a full body movement experience each day in the early grades for sure. We really work on balance. We work on spatial awareness and dynamics. We work on internal movement as well. And all of those pieces together broaden a child's ability to move in the world, to see in the world, and come into their own and manifest more for themselves.
We are creating citizens who care about each other and want to learn and know how to ask questions. It's not something that we're covertly teaching. It happens because of the way we're teaching students. What I see with Waldorf students is they are far less stressed out and worried about what others will think of them or how their grades are in school. Instead, they are excited to come to school. They want to learn. They enjoy the challenge of a diversity of ways of learning, like through music and theater as an integrated part of the curriculum. In all of that, the focus continues to be How do we be good citizens? How do we be friends to all people? That is not taught as lessons, that just is as we are in the school, the way that the school is. And I see that in my boys, that they are confident, empathetic people, able to make friends with a whole variety of people, able to ask questions when they're uncertain. And I really don't think they would have come out of the education the same way if it had not been through a Waldorf education like that.
Waldorf children are Renaissance children when they're done. They are mathematicians and scientists and artists and athletes. They are able to do all of those things. To be their teacher, you also have to be all of those things. It enlivens and enriches everybody's life. You're not ever resting on your laurels as a Waldorf teacher. You don't let your children rest on theirs either. They're curious about the world because we teach them that there's always something to find. There's always more to research or find out about. They move into the world with this confidence, which I think is significant. A confidence that they can meet whatever comes at them and respond because they have so many more tools in their toolbox. Oh, you need something drawn? I can draw that for you. Oh, math. Okay, let's figure it out.
It's not really school. It's just like a family.
Whether or not I've been gone for 2 months or 20 years, I will always come back here and feel like I have a home.
I'm just so proud of this school to know that we've been able to serve this many children and put human beings into the world with these experiences. I'm just so confident that they will be the future of generations that can solve some of the really difficult social issues that we're having and bring real creative thinking and real compassion to their workplace.
Children here come to school. They have a day that is active, engaged, and joyful. They do not feel stressed. They do not have much homework. They have very little testing. And at the end of this educational experience, they are children who are easily testing into their choice of high school or college and are at the top of their game, both academically, but also in a much more well-rounded way, and are kids who are very successful in their lives. And the fact that you can have a school experience that is not stressful and that is joyful and end up with that sort of success is a great reason to come and check out the Waldorf School.
We are not educating students to be part of the mainstream thinking. We are activating students' consciousness so that they can go out into the world, think for themselves, and do the good in the world as well.
I truly believe that if every child had the chance to have a Waldorf education, the world would be a much better place.